missions. So the question would be, how do we want missions to work? Okay, so if the mission data exists on the client, then we don't have to be logged in to do the missions. Missions have to be hard-coded in there, so why don't we put forward our 3 different designs, or missions on client, missions on server, okay, so if the missions are on the client, then what are the implications? We have to do a client update for new missions. Server blindly accepts data, no real validation of stats other than trusted game servers. It's probably the easiest to implement. Missions fully playable offline, but no tracking offline, which, yeah, I mean, what good are your missions if you don't actually get credit for them, right? I mean, we could record locally the results for the missions and then report them later and have a local cache and all that sort of crap, but it's a lot of damn work. Shit. Okay, so if the missions were on the server, so basically like we put them all in the database and they're data driven, and like the missions are not playable offline because the client doesn't know what the missions are. The server can verify all the data because the online systems actually know all the missions and what they're supposed to have, and we can push new missions at any time using auxiliary systems. So like if we wanted to push new missions, we just have, just have Jenkins here basically take from Perforce we can just dump data into the database like that, and then kind of works that way. Starting one player? I'm not really sure what you mean with starting the one player. If you mean starting single player, yeah, we'll be doing single player missions first. For multiplayer missions, The issue I see is most players can't connect to each other and invite somebody to play with them, mainly due to port forwarding and stuff like that. So we're going to have to do those on the dedicated servers, and if we're going to be doing missions with multiple players in the same mission, it's going to have to be dynamic dedicated servers for the game servers. So single player first, definitely. But multiplayer, like none of these systems preclude having multiple players. It's just we're going to need dynamic dedicated servers, otherwise we're going to have connectivity problems. Okay, so let's say we have missions on the client and the server. So this would be the most flexible. If we had missions on the client and the server, missions are playable offline. Server can verify. Can push new missions. And well, let's think about this. We don't necessarily have to store this crap in the database. We can store this stuff, publicly available. Like we could put this on S3 or something, and just have like an actual file. So the platform doesn't have to be online for this to work. You just have to have an internet connection. So like we can just pull down the latest files. So instead of having like the database exist here, we instead have something like S3 and so we would have all of these guys would actually pull the same mission data from here. That way we don't have to be online. You have to implement a squad system. Very good. So basically, Jenkins pushes stuff to S3. How would we update all of our missions at once? We could set up an online broadcast, so we can hit up our queue, which should basically say missions updated. And that way we could quickly kind of make everything work. Okay, so if we're all working with the same data, so it's on both the client and the server, we're fetching it from S3, so we have like a /latest file on S3. S3 is not the best way to distribute content, though. It's not the worst way to distribute content, but it's better if you have a CDN like CloudFront. We could put it on S3 to start with, and then we could move it to CloudFront later. So you could basically call the platform and get our our path to kind of like what we do with the telemetry, or we could hard code it. Probably call steps to getting mission data is going to be like call platform, where is mission data, and download mission data from link, and store mission data locally, question mark. I mean, it's not impossible. We could store the mission data locally. That way, if we're offline, we'll still have mission data. Alright, that could work. And we can switch that out with CloudFront later if we want to. We'll just start with S3. Well, that should work. Alright, so we need missions on the server and the client is what we need. So that'll be our system for storing our mission data. So how do we create missions? I mean, it's going to have to be all data driven then, and we'll have to just edit JSON files for this, which is going to be a gap for Adam to create missions. Let me think about other things. So if we had a mission, what does a mission define? So let's get our mission data structure. So what does a mission look like? So we're going to have a mission. So it's going to have it's going to have a name. It's going to need like some victory conditions. Alright, Chris Koku. Having a good time. I am just still going to be muddling through system design for this thing, which can take a long time. These sorts of systems, you'd be in a room at a large company with 5 other people for like all day just going over all this stuff. So I unfortunately don't have the benefit of other people yelling at me and telling me I'm wrong. So I'll probably come up with an idea, but I'm probably going to miss a bunch of shit. Hello, the one and only Tim. You can yell at me. Use the route. Use the route and upload data. Well, basically, stats and results system figured out that we need a master app server. Kind of how we'll update our mission data. Kind of working from the back to the front. So now basically I need to figure out what the hell the mission data structures are like. And that's a thing. So we need a mission name. All right. So what do missions have? We're gonna need a map. I guess we're also gonna need a game mode. Did this make it bold? Whatever. Let's just delete it. So we need a game mode. And so what is it? We're also gonna need like conditions in there. Well, the overall goal here is to design, like I kind of wrote some of this down to try to keep myself on track, is this is single player and multiplayer mission system and meta progression. So the purpose of the system is to drive player re-engagement. So we want players to keep coming back and playing the game, and to actually have people kind of online most of the time. While there might not be enough people to actually have a 3v3 match, if there are people online that could then form it, we could then do like a queuing system. So you could like sign up for a match, and then once people come online, I'll say like 3 out of 4 people are here. Do you want to go ahead and try to start or whatever? Just basically, we don't have enough people right now to have engagement. So it's a system not only to provide leaderboards and offline asynchronous multiplayer, but to also get people to re-engage and be like, ah, crap, Jeff in Z has got 2 more goals this week than I do. Or he got gold tier on, mission 5. I'm going to go in and beat that guy. Okay, so let's also have an example here. So this will be like win against bots would be a thing. So the map is going to be, let's just say Grasslands Day. The game mode would be just a classic, like a normal, whatever. And I think we need prerequisites. So we would need a list of, so we need a game options. And this would be an array. So we'd have stuff like AI always hard, multiple balls, multi-ball, mad ups or whatever, like double jump. Okay, so we have game options. So that'll set basically all the different things that our game mode controls. So it'd be like low gravity or something else. It doesn't have as many bots as we have, so we're going to need some starting conditions or some extra play conditions. Are those game options, though? They could be game options, like starting bots 5, starting bots left, starting bots right, max players. Alright, so do we need more game options to support this? Or should we make a new system which is more like game constraints or extra game data, such as we can make kind of a key value system for extra game data which we check for? I guess maybe I should make a mission data structure with extra stuff. Okay, so we'll have game options, but then we'll also have mission options. And this will be a well-defined thing, so like left bots, should we do like time limit? No, I mean that's like game mode. Okay, we're also gonna need the time limit constraints. Okay, so we have game mode, which would be like normal. We need our level, like a time. I guess it's victory conditions. Victory conditions. So this would be stuff like time, and like 120 seconds. It's a really good way to figure out I might utilize something like this for record building. Yeah, I use kind of these. I find that something like Visio, like I just like Visio. I mean, not many people do, but once you get over the stupid ass controls, like to pan, it's left control, left shift, and right mouse button, and then you also have to hit left control and left shift, and then you can zoom in with the mouse. And once you figure that out and you get used to just doing it, Visio becomes super easy to use. But before that, it's fucking like, okay, this is you scrolling the mouse, and this is you like panning around by using the middle mouse button and dragging, and or like arrow keys, and you're just like, this is the worst shit on the planet. But if you know the shortcuts, you can just easily zoom in and out. So game mode is going to be like a normal game mode. Are we ever going to have any non-normal game modes? I mean, that would just be different game options. Victory conditions. We're going to have a lot more victory conditions for this to work. Like right now, we just have time and score, and that's not going to work for this. We're going to have a lot of victory conditions tied to other shit. This is Visio, so it's the Microsoft product. So it's spelled VISIO, like spell like that. It's I think it's expensive, right? Like you gotta actually pay for it. It's part of Microsoft Office, but it's not part of Microsoft Office standard, so you gotta actually go get it. The other problem is it can be a real pain in the ass if people you're working with don't have it, and you make all your nice pretty diagrams, and then nobody can go look at them. Okay, so we'll have lots of victory conditions. Maybe I should list out a few victory conditions. So we got time. Maybe I'll find something out. So time and score. Score. I guess we're gonna have to have like time limit, and so we'll have like a time limit combined with score. Okay, interesting. So not only it's not necessarily that we have victory conditions, it's that we have match end conditions, and then so it's maybe like defeat conditions as well. So what we could do is have a defeat condition of, like, we could say victory condition is score, and we have 5, and the defeat condition is 120 seconds pass. So it's probably better to do victory conditions and defeat conditions, and that would actually cover these, like, yeah, okay, so we'll have time, and score, time limit is just a defeat condition of time. We'll have hits. We will have, like, yeah, we'll have to have everything. So hits, and also by type. So like get 10 ground pound hits on these bots, and the bots are in always flee mode. Yeah, okay. Hits by type. What other things? We'll have, I guess, juggles. Okay, now we have victory conditions, we have defeat conditions, so we'll need kind of an array of victory conditions, or do we need like a victory condition tier list? So how would we grade your score? So I guess we need tier conditions. So this would be an array, so it would be something like, so we'd say gold would be time, and we would say like 30 seconds, something like that. So we also need our tiers. So what are our tiers going to be? So this is going to be this will be conditions over here. And then we'll also need our tiers. And I think that'll be pretty simple. We'll have maybe let's have all the tiers. So our tiers will go diamond, platinum, gold, silver, bronze, and trash tiers. Okay, so we have tier conditions, victory conditions, defeat division conditions, mission options, game options. So we're gonna need mission options. So our mission options gonna be such as, we'll have like bot number. I don't know, I'll have to write down a big ass list of these. So mission options and everything else, just to go into it. Oh, that's pretty funny. So apparently one of the new things that some people are talking about is cryptocurrency heaters. So it's like a box you put in your corner that mines cryptocurrency but also heats your house. It's so fucking dumb. God, what the hell is wrong with humanity? Like, the aliens are gonna stop by after a couple thousand years, and we'll have cut down all the forests and drained every ocean and turned everything into like a big Dyson sphere to get energy from the sun, and all we're gonna be doing is mining fucking bitcoins. I mean, aliens will just keep going. They'll just be like, "Yep, another civilization." All right, so went against bots, score 5, grasslands stay normal. This would be a single mission. And do we need anything else? So for the missions, should we put them into categories? I think so. So I think we'll need a category for the mission. And that'll be a string, so maybe category would be bash the bots, and we might have a ranking, like a skill rating. So it's got a skill rating of something. All right, the one and only Tim. Well, this is how I plan, but I'm an engineer, and that's just kind of how I think in kind of a visual way. And I use Visio because I can just keep putting crap all over the place, and like I can move all this stuff down here without like erasing a giant whiteboard and doing that. Anyway, have a good day at work, and thanks for the cheer. Go do all the things and have fun, hopefully. So a skill rating. So what sort of skill rating should we have? Maybe a star rating. So like a skill rating of 3 or something. Bash the bots, win against bots. Game options would be AI is hard, multi balls, double jump. All right. So that would be good. Then we'll have other things, which will be like a skill rating of 4 of like complete an obstacle course. So let's say we have even more complex missions, like, yeah, you too, Tim. More complex missions, such as we actually want to put you in a level which has an obstacle course and like brambles and all sorts of shit. And you have to get through it, and you have to use like the double jump to get over there. To these places, would we make a new map? And this would be like the map would not be Grasslands Day, it would be Grasslands Day Obstacle Course 5 or something like that. Problem with that is those maps are going to be big. So how would we do this? So if we got the Grasslands level, and we need the Grasslands level to have a bunch of extra objects, so how in the hell could we use the Unreal Editor to actually make that level, but then not have to like bake another entire level, package it up, and then increase the download size for the entire game? Like that's kind of a problem, right? If we got, like, I mean, we could just take a look at it right now. How big is a level? So right now, like the Forest Knight is 150 megs. Forest day is 150 megs. Foggy night, let's see, server map is nothing. The UI map is 30 megs. Training is 2 megs. So sunny day is the smallest at 20. So let's say we had 10 different maps for sunny day. I mean, how the hell would we even keep all that working, right? Like, I think we have to have a system for enabling and disabling different actors in the level. So we would have to have mission options, which also include things such as, do we have mission options? Yeah, we have bot number, and so we'd want like enable obstacles by string. Enable actors, and we'll just say by string. Yeah. Because think about it this way. So let's say we design an obstacle course inside of the sunny day level. If we then go make a duplicate level of that, if we want to change like the area in front of the goal, we're going to have to change it inside of 2 levels if they're duplicate. But on the converse of that, if we don't want to change the obstacle course, we just want to change the real level, then they're in 2 levels, so we can do that. So it sounds like the right way to do it is to allow enabling and disabling actors by string, but we're probably also going to duplicate levels to make it work, just because of development reasons. Can we use sublevels? Let me take a look at sublevels in Unreal. Not really seeing it. Okay, so we'd have a category, a skill rating, a name. So we would need categories. I mean, that could just be a string, so that's not a problem. What's another thing? If we have a name, we'd also want a description. Beat 3, difficult bots in the beautiful grasslands. I guess we'd also want, if it's solo, I guess we'd want a player number. So it'd be like, this is a 1-player mission. So single player mission, beat 3 bots, skill rating 3, category bash the bots, so that's where it would go in your UI. The name would be win against bots, grasslands day. The game mode would be, you could then look at it and it would say, like it's a normal game mode, You have to beat it in 120 seconds, and then we have the tier conditions and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so that could work for everything. And alright, so I'm Adam, and I'm going to make a new mission. How do I do it? Well, I'd have to grab a JSON file, and I would then have to, like, I'm working locally. So I need to edit the file locally for these missions, and the game is going to have to run to, because it's in the editor, it's going to pull that up. I'm going to connect to the test environment, which is going to allow me to view my scores and everything else. So will this support that? So yeah, because we're downloading mission files, we can just go ahead and have those work. When he checks in the mission files, they'll need to be automatically deployed with our test environment. So we have mission data structures. So what he would do is he would do this, he'd boot up the editor. The editor would load it on play start. He'd go to missions, select mission, see the mission list. His new mission would be in there. It would have a map and everything. He'd click on that. He would then play it, get a result. So if he wanted to make a new mission that was very similar to that, like, you'd have to make this big JSON thing. It would have to be vetted. Can we use any special tools to do this? Like, I mean, we could have a JSON editor or something, but that's probably a waste of time. I mean, we could try to use Unreal in order to make the actual JSON files. Let me think about that. Because these data structures have to exist. We could make an export button in the editor for mission data, which would take the current level and settings. Trying to think. Because we could export it. We could actually export it and read it in and everything else. So editor flow for making a mission, I could actually do this. So what he would do is you would it'd be in the Unreal editor. You would then go into the level you want. So how do we make mission data? Would we have mission data as actual U assets that you go make? And then we export those U assets to JSON files, and then we can munge all that crap up there. So for them to be actual editable U asset things, I have to do that, but I have to think about this. Is that going to be any better than just a fucking JSON file? Like, it's not like the Unreal. Let me just boot up Unreal. It's not like the Unreal editor is very good for this data anyway. That gives me an idea. We want rewards, right? Don't we want like some meta? Well, we can think about rewards later. For tier rewards. Why don't we just go ahead and start that same process too? Let's design in some meta progression you know, prestige points that don't do anything right now, but we can use them later. Oh, that also reminds me, we're gonna want abilities. So allowed abilities. I guess we'll just have abilities array. So this would be like stuff that you have unlocked. So this would say like double jump. Because we might have actual abilities later. But then again, I could just chuck these off the truck for now, and because we don't have abilities, so don't put them in. We'll add abilities when we have abilities. So let's go. Let's take a look at our data structure stuff. So right now, for like our movement data structures would look like this, where we'd have victory conditions, and you have an array of victory conditions. You'd click time and score, or something like that, and then you'd save this, and we would need an export process. So you'd have like 100 missions, and they'd all be in here, and if you wanted to play a specific mission, you'd go over to your arena level, drag in a mission, be like, play this in the editor, and it would just boot you up into your mission. Otherwise, you're going to have to edit JSON files. I mean, it's not awful. It's, since these are all basic things. And this is, what kind of, it's a movement data. So we'd actually have to go make the actor factory for all that and expose it. And then we'd probably also need to put an export missions button in here somewhere. Like we got generate code up here, we'd have an export missions button, which would export all the current missions. So our process for making a new mission would be then doing this. Is there a reverse process? Let's say I wanted to edit this stuff in JSON. Because we can do a P4 reconcile. Like, that's not awful. Okay, so you'd be in the level, and then on the arena object, so Unreal Editor, you would make, so in content, you'd have missions. Inside of missions, you'd have mission UAsset. So inside of the level, you would have the arena level, and then you would have the editor mission thing, which would point to this mission UAsset, which you could edit, and that would allow you to make your mission and play it easily without switching between other crap. You would then have an export button. So export missions, and that's going to go put it into JSON files, and then that's going to go to a P4 reconcile and be checked in. So I am a content creator. I want to make a new mission. I create a new mission U asset. That U asset gets exported as part of an export process where I click a button to export my mission. I am finished working on it. That goes to JSON files, gets checked into Perforce, that will get auto-deployed to the production environment, and that's how I that's how I work on missions. I mean, it's not bad. That could work. That's not too much work for me to add to the editor. So we've got our mission data structure. This is how we'll put that together. This is how we'll actually deploy it out there and use it on our servers. And it'll all be well-defined types and everything, so we'll do the auto-gen. Well, let's think about that. The auto-gen for these things. Yeah, so it's all going to be data-driven, so it's fine. Yeah, so if I need to add a new mission option or something else that can go in here, I have to go add that, I have to go generate it, I have to go deploy all the damn backend servers, and alright, that'll work. So I'll have categories, skill ratings, descriptions, alright. We should also have another thing here with online. And this will be like false. Okay, so if we've got that in order, I guess the next thing to think about is our multiplayer missions and how those work. So how, like, let's do a user flow. So how do I do a multiplayer mission? So I go into online missions. I go to join mission. I mean, we can basically do like a host sort of situation where it's like, okay, I'd like to do an online mission. So it'll be like, okay, register for it. And you're entered into an online mission. Alright, so register for mission. and that will wait. Okay, so we go to the online menu, the online missions menu, and what it would be is you would have a list of missions that you could do and your stats for them, and next to some missions there would be stars with somebody is waiting for this mission, like 3 out of 4, or you can basically create a new one. You'd be like, okay, I want to do this mission, and you'd click it and you'd sit there and wait. So we'd probably have it be that like your user can go do whatever. So basically we'd pop up like a little thing that's permanently on your screen in like the top somewhere, and it would say queuing for mission 5, 2 out of 3 players available. And you could go play any single player game or whatever, and maybe we could have some warnings about like, are you sure you want to do this? Players would join, and then the mission would start. You'd go and connect to this thing in the mission lobby. You would then play the mission, get the results, and then it would go back to the mission lobby. So you could win the mission, and then you could try another one. Or, yeah, I guess that's another one. You could go to pick a new mission. And what you could do is, if there was another mission, pick new mission. Excuse me.